You know, I kind of said it the entire time. This is the right move. Even before he was drafted, I was kind of like, even if Owen Power gets drafted first overall, he's taken as the number 1 player in the 2021 NHL Entry Draft. I still believed in my heart of hearts that this guy would benefit more from a sophomore season in the NCAA than he would have if he got rushed into the NHL and maybe given what was to be the Rasmus Ristolainen treatment with the Buffalo Sabres. We've seen this time in and time out with big hulking defensemen that apparently can skate a little bit, playing out of the Buffalo system. Tyler Myers, okay, he was good, he won the Calder, but guess what happened to Myers after? Rasmus Ristolainen, a good first few years in the Sabres system, and then he kind of just fell off. It's a pattern that has established itself throughout the years when it comes to the Sabres and developing their top big defensemen. So for Owen Power to be the pinnacle player of the 2021 draft class, I was kind of saying, I don't care if he's first. I really don't. I want this guy to actually go back. And, to be fair, that is exactly what he said too. Before the 2021 NHL Entry Draft even began, Owen Power was like, yeah, I'm probably going to go back and play another season with Michigan. A lot of people were kind of speculating, is it because he doesn't want to play in Buffalo that he's saying that? He's really trying his luck at making sure the Sabres don't take him by saying he's not going to play right away. And I know that's a meme. Nobody really believes that Owen Power doesn't want to go to Buffalo. That's why he said, I'm not going to play right away. Because it's actually the first time in 15 years we have had a first overall pick not play in the National Hockey League immediately after. It was Eric Johnson back in, it was 05? No, my goodness, 05 was the Crosby draft. 06, where we didn't have that trend continue. Every other guy since then, Patty Kane, 2008, who the heck was 2008? Stamkos, and then Tavares, and then Taylor Hall, Nugent Hopkins. All the rest of the guys played NHL right away. Owen Power has broken that trend. And my goodness, has he shown off why that decision is a good one. Let's take a look at where his overall point production is in the NCAA so far. He has 12 points in 10 Michigan Wolverines games, and just look at the production right here. He is at 4 points removed from his last year metric in just under a fourth the amount of games. I get it, Michigan is a really good team, and if you take a look at who's producing on that squad, Kent Johnson, Brendan Brisson, Borderlow, Luke Hughes, Beniers, there are so many good names on the Michigan Wolverines roster this year, but still, just in isolation, Owen Power, if you go back the last 30 years, this is a tweet that Cam Robinson had, he is rocking a 1.2 point per game pace, which is tracking to be the second best U20 output by a defender in the last 30 years in the NCAA, and the only guy to have a higher point per game metric was Mike Mateau in 97-98. You can see that so far, Owen Power is having a better draft plus 1 year than Adam Fox did with the Harvard University Crimson. Now, it says he is 18 and Owen Power is 19. It's because Owen Power's birthday is coming later in November. Adam Fox was born after the new year, so the numbers of, how old people are, it's kind of skewed up in that direction. But still, draft plus 1 years, Owen Power is having a better one than Fox has so far. It's only been 10 games. Adam Fox played 35, so you're going to have to keep up that point per game number. Ron Hainsey is over here, so is Jack Johnson. If you go down even further, hey, guess who Owen Power is beating out? Quinn Hughes and Zach Werenski. These two guys had just about 1 point per game seasons in their draft plus ones. And Owen Power, he was first overall for a reason. They're all playing for the University of Michigan over here too. You can kind of see that Luke Hughes is following behind as well, so he's following directly in the footsteps of his older brother Quinn, but just having Adam Fox be the main guy that Owen Power is beating out over here, it is pretty interesting to note. Here's an article on Sports Illustrated talking about how Owen Power is thriving as a sophomore in the NCAA. Not only is he putting up big points for the Wolverines, but he is rounding out his game as well. The University of Michigan Wolverines men's ice hockey team have an 8-2 record with wins over top-ranked programs Minnesota Duluth and Minnesota State, while also sweeping their arch-rivals Michigan State over the weekend. It's hard not to key in on the points Power is producing so far. He has nearly matched the 16 he put up in 26 games last year, but the youngster is also happy with his progress at both ends of the ice. My offensive game has taken another step, he said. But all over the ice, defensively, my gaps have been a lot better, and in the D zone, I've become harder to play against and done a better job at breaking out pucks, making it hard for the other team to create offense or sustain O-zone time. Here is what he had to say about the World Championships that he played in earlier this year. And if you remember watching Team Canada at the World Championships, that team kind of sucked until Andre Mangiapane suited up for the team and started scoring a goal every game or whatever it was. But for Owen Power, playing with Troy Stecher as a D partner, it was actually really nice seeing him actually transition from the NCAA game as a freshman to the grandest stage of them all. Not WrestleMania, not the Olympics, because the Olympics weren't playing last year, but the World Championships for Team Canada, and actually just do everything that he needed to do pretty alright. He only had 3 points in 10 games, but that's not really what made Power good at this tournament. It was just the fact that he was there in general, he was participating with NHL talent, he did not look out of place, and there were some nights where he actually was one of the better shutdown defenders. He says this about the experience at the World Championships: Troy Stecher was really good to me, especially when we were playing together. Guys like Connor Brown, Adam Henrique, Darcy Kemper, and Colin Miller were all unreal guys to me, and it made it easy to fit in and be confident around that group. You also have yourselves the chance of him actually going back to the World Juniors too, that's highlighted in this article. And he also says that for the World Juniors, Team USA, Matty, Beniers, and them were doing really well last season, and there hasn't been too much trash talk yet. It's so far away, and most of us don't know if we're on the team. Beniers is probably the only lock because he was there last year. There will probably be more as it comes closer, but still. With all this stuff going on about Owen Power in the NCAA and all the point production, the awareness and the development of his defensive game, which was a very big issue last year, this is a very good step. And I get it, the Sabres had a very good start to the year, however, they have calmed down a little bit, and they have come down somewhat back to earth. I think it's very fair to say that the way that Power is developing in the NCAA right now, he would not have had that opportunity to do the same had he got sent over to the NHL right away. Had he been playing for a Buffalo Sabres team that is trying to keep up that early winning streak that they had, and that's trying to bounce back from the losing that they've been doing lately too, just the ups and downs and the inconsistencies over there, I was honestly pretty skeptical even before the draft lottery that Owen Power would be an NHL-ready talent right away. So to see this second year in this step of his development, it's a very good sign. I think it's really good that he's developing all this other stuff because, let's face it, man, go back to all the other videos we made talking about Owen Power heading into the draft. His defensive game, while when it was good, it wasn't consistent enough, nor was it reliable enough, in my opinion, to really justify giving this guy a spot right away. And all the stuff that made him great offensively, taking the puck in his own zone, just skating by everybody, breaking into the offensive zone and doing his magic there, because he did have some good magic in the O-zone, that stuff didn't present itself often enough to really say that this is a guy that could be at the same level of a Rasmus Dahlin or an Aaron Ekblad or whatever. Power was kind of the epitome of the draft class as a whole, which was not as high ceiling as the rest of the drafts we have seen, not as high as 2022's, not as high as 2020's, or 2023's for that matter, but still a profile that boasts some very good respect if he were to develop the way that we know that he probably could. It's just the guarantees wasn't really there in my opinion. So, the fact that he took that second year, good for him, he's doing well. If you take a look at the NCAA in its entirety for points, he is the top scoring defenseman in the entire league. And if you take a look at who is second, it's Timothy Lavelle for Arizona State University with 11 points in 10 games played. Brandon Scanlon for University of Nebraska Omaha has 11 and 10 as well, so that's kind of where the rest of the list rounds out. But for Owen Power, being one of the top guys in the NCAA in points, being one of the top players on his own team in points, and being the top NCAA defenseman in scoring right now, all at the age of 18 turning 19 years old, it is a very good sign for Buffalo Sabres fans who already have so much to look forward to, I should say that instead, with all the other guys they have. Peyton Krebs is going to make his debut soon. You have Owen Power coming into the system, of course. Jack Quinn is tearing it up in Rochester, and you still have Devin Levi doing his thing. Man, Buffalo, you guys got to be excited. I know we've been saying the same thing for the past, 5 years, but still, be excited. Why don't ya? Talk to me in the comments what do you think about Owen Power and his development so far. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Trolls 99. And bye.